The move into my new home had been both exciting and exhausting. The thrill of starting fresh in a new place mingled with the stress of unpacking and settling in. But as I lay in bed on that first night in my new house, surrounded by unfamiliar shadows and creaking floorboards, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled over me like a heavy blanket. It was late, the moon casting a soft glow through the curtains as I drifted off to sleep. But my slumber was restless, plagued by strange dreams and fleeting shadows that seemed to dance at the edge of my consciousness. As I lay there, surrounded by the unfamiliarity of my new surroundings, my mind buzzed with anticipation and apprehension. The silence of the night pressed in around me, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards or the distant hoot of an owl. Eventually, exhaustion won over, and I drifted off to sleep, hoping that tomorrow would bring a sense of familiarity and comfort to my new home. However, my slumber was short-lived, interrupted by a strange noise echoing through the corridors of the house. At first, I brushed it off as the settling of the house or the sounds of the night. But as the noise persisted, growing louder and more unsettling, a sense of unease began to creep over me. And then, just as I was beginning to sink into a deeper sleep, I was jolted awake by a soft, almost imperceptible noise echoing through the darkness. At first, I dismissed it as nothing more than the settling of the house, the usual sounds of a new home adjusting to its inhabitants. But as the noise persisted, growing louder and more insistent, a sense of dread began to creep over me. With a sense of trepidation, I climbed out of bed and made my way into the hallway, the floorboards creaking beneath my feet. The house was shrouded in darkness, the only light coming from the dim glow of the moon filtering in through the windows. As I approached the source of the sound, my heart began to race, every nerve in my body on high alert. And then, just as I reached the end of the hallway, I saw a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, its form obscured by the dim light. My breath caught in my throat as I stared at the figure, my mind racing with 1,000 questions. Who or what was it? And what was it doing in my house? For a moment I stood there, paralyzed with fear, unable to tear my eyes away from the creature's gaze. But then, with a sudden burst of movement, the creature turned and fled, disappearing into the darkness before I could even react. With a surge of adrenaline, I gave chase, my heart pounding in my chest as I raced after the elusive figure. The creature that I encountered that fateful night was unlike anything I had ever seen before. It stood tall and lean, its form shrouded in shadows, making it difficult to discern its features. Its skin, if you could call it that, seemed to ripple and shift in the faint moonlight, giving it an otherworldly appearance. Its eyes were perhaps the most unsettling aspect of all, large and luminous, glowing with an eerie intensity that seemed to pierce straight through to my soul. They bore into me with a primal, predatory gaze, sending a shiver down my spine. As it moved, it seemed to glide effortlessly through the darkness, its movements fluid and graceful. There was a certain elegance to its demeanor, a silent confidence that spoke of a creature accustomed to the shadows. But despite its graceful appearance, there was something undeniably menacing about the creature, something that sent a chill down my spine and set my heart racing with fear. It exuded an aura of danger, a sense that it was not to be trifled with. In the moments before it vanished into the night, I caught a glimpse of its face, or what passed for a face, at least. It was twisted and distorted, with sharp, angular features that seemed to shift and change with every passing second. But try as I might, I couldn't keep pace with it, couldn't close the gap between us. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the creature vanished into the night, leaving me standing alone in the darkness, my mind reeling. With trembling hands, I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911, my voice shaking as I relayed what had happened to the operator on the other end of the line. Within minutes, a team of police officers was dispatched to my house, their sirens wailing as they raced towards the scene. As I waited for the police to arrive, I retreated to my room, locking the door behind me and sitting in silence as I waited for help to arrive. When the police finally arrived, they searched the house from top to bottom, but found no sign of the intruder. As I sat in the dim light of my room, waiting for the police to arrive, I couldn't shake the feeling of vulnerability that washed over me. The events of the night had left me shaken, questioning the safety of my new home and the world outside its walls. When the police finally arrived, they conducted a thorough search of the house, but found no sign of the intruder. Despite their assurances that they would keep an eye on the neighborhood, I couldn't shake the feeling that the creature was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for its next opportunity to strike. In the days that followed, I took precautions to secure my home, installing security cameras and double-checking all the locks before bed. But no matter how many safety measures I put in place, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered in the air. From that day on, I lived with a constant sense of vigilance, always on the lookout for any sign of the mysterious creature that had invaded my home. And though I may never fully understand what I saw that night, one thing is certain: it was an experience that would stay with me for the rest of my days. A reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the darkness that lies beyond. They assured me that they would keep an eye on the neighborhood and urged me to call if I saw anything suspicious. But despite their reassurances, I couldn't shake the feeling that the creature was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. From that day on, I slept with one eye open, my mind haunted by the memory of that fateful night and the strange creature that had invaded my home. And though I may never fully understand what I saw, one thing is certain: it was an experience that would stay with me for the rest of my days.